Welcome back, everybody. In this update, we are looking at Outlook discussion number 3. And yes, we are continuing to look at the tropics. And actually, I might even make a second video about the severe weather this upcoming week. Today we had some enhanced risk. We're gonna look at storm reports in the next video. I think I'm gonna make a second one if there's enough time and stuff. But we are going to be taking another look at the tropics, and in this update, we're going to be continuing to look at the same details as before, but there is now a little bit more confidence of a sign out going into July. And I noticed it on the latest zero too. We're now starting to see in the longer range, yes, past 240 hours out. And yes, people might say, why are you looking out that far? But all I'm seeing with the longer range forecast, we're seeing now stronger waves coming off Africa. And all we need is the waters to continue to warm, the shears continuing to go down. The dry air right now is pretty robust, but should go down. We're going to look at that. And we're going to look at more of the main development region and parts of the Eastern Pacific. Because at this point, I don't think we're going to see a storm in the Bay of Campeche. Honestly, the confidence has even less, and I'll say, if anything, a 5%. But do we have a chance for a subtropical system? Yes, we do. But give me 1 second, and I'll be right back. So we're taking a look at the cloud features right now, and basically, we have a very robust high pressure here. Okay, we have a high pressure here, and you can tell that too because we have a lot of this lingering cold front pattern continue to be streamed just north of the high pressure. And basically what we're seeing is a lot of dry air and Saharan dust being pulled off Africa. There's our tropical environmental zone where we get the rain, showers, and thunderstorms. Not too active right now, but should get active as we get into later June to July. We're also going to be taking a look at a potential, I've been noticing on today's runs and some of these samples on the GEFS, a potential tropical storm maybe out in the main development region, maybe not even cause any hassle. Look at that. But basically, if you guys are in the Caribbean, we still got that unfavorable shear going on. You can tell by these cloud patterns. We still got quite a bit of shear. We're going to be taking a look at that. But right now, shear is dying off, and there's proof of that. Okay, so we'll be taking a look at that. A lot of showers and thunderstorms in the United States here today. A lot of flood alerts, and it's been a pretty wet season in the last few weeks in the eastern half of the United States. So we're going to now take a look at the National Hurricane Center, and yes, I do not think we are going to have development in the Bay of Campeche, nothing in the Caribbean, nothing in the Gulf, even areas near Bermuda, okay, and the main development regions. But activity in the main development region, we are going to start seeing those waves. And I'm watching on where these waves move because that's going to tell us how our pattern is. And it's very interesting. I don't even think there's going to be any activity up in the Northeast. Where I do think is going to be right where the lettering is. We might get a tropical storm right at the end of June. There's that potential chance, okay? We're going to keep taking a look at that. But now let's take a look at the long range CFS. We're going right into it, you guys. We're right into a model we already used before. This is today's outlook of the model. We haven't checked this out since discussion 2 or 1. I think it was 2. Well, since the last discussion. That was about a day or so ago. But thank you. Oh, yeah. Thank you for all the support on the last video and my shorts. We are doing very well on this channel with the views and everything. Just, I would love you guys to watch a little bit more of my videos and even subscribe and like. Because once again, the more subscribers we get, the more views, the more my video will go out. But that's on a side note. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But we're going to be taking a look at the CFS, and we're going to honestly just be taking a look. This is just in the future. So we kind of see, yeah, nothing really too much in the next, even 8 days. Really nothing. Maybe some showers, thunderstorms go to the Caribbean, but nothing like a wave. But we start seeing um, some waves try and make it. There's one that goes right into the Caribbean, doesn't really form. Then goes near the East Coast. Yeah, we get some near Bermuda. And then we start seeing some more activity where we're seeing waves moving along. There's another wave. There's another wave. There was a wave right here. Even this one, I think that was coming off the East Coast. Nothing too much in the Caribbean and the Bay Campeche that we are going to be looking at. But we continue to take a look, and we see these waves come off. We don't see really any development, okay, on the latest CFS. We maybe see something down the road. There's another wave. But this video is not to say, oh, we're going to have activity really develop. Because that's not my intentions. My intentions are we're starting to see stronger and stronger waves coming off Africa. And I do expect that. And yes, the new CFS doesn't really show anything with hurricanes. And it's not even meant for that. It's more to show what does the pattern look like in the long range. And what I'm seeing is a robust high pressure. And a lot of these waves are going to go right into the Caribbean. Okay? And right into here. I don't see anything really going out to sea. Okay? We're going to just have to keep looking because every run changes. And the CFS is not the most reliable, especially when you get almost 800 hours out. That's weeks out. That's like 2 weeks out. 2-3 weeks out. Okay? But we look at the ensembles on the GEFS, and yes, I don't even believe in this over here. This is a big X. There's some models, maybe something comes out of the Central American gyre, maybe a wave that goes up north. We'll keep an eye on that, but I don't see anything with the Euro. What I do see is some beginning ensembles developing a subtropical system here. Maybe a tropical storm, maybe even stronger. Okay? We're going to keep an eye on that. The waters are actually pretty conducive over here. It could develop. We have seen it in the past, even in May. So the environment up here could form one. That's nothing to worry about. Maybe the waters are something to worry about, I'll say, in the shear. We'll keep an eye on that. These are the European ensembles, and really nothing to even talk about. We don't, I mean, this only goes 240 hours out, but East Pacific loaded. Over here, I don't even think anything will happen there. We don't even see anything in the subtropics. But, look at that. We see a few samples of a wave coming off Africa. And those are the little signs that we didn't have before that is starting to show up as we get more into July. Maybe stuff coming off Africa. That's a huge question. Zero Z, did it have it? No, not really at all. So it's interesting that we're seeing that little detail. And maybe even more now, we see this one ensemble, maybe even two, a few up in the subtropics. So there is signs slowly but surely coming along that we could be seeing some tropical development going into July. But June, I would say it's shut, closed. Nothing's going to happen in June. Maybe towards the end we get a tropical depression, tropical storm, out to sea type system. But even then, I'm not confident on that right now. Because we've seen it, we have heard it. We look at the latest 18Z because I know it's out on the ensembles. And this only goes 140 hours out. So we're not even going to get anything big out of it. Sorry about that. 18Z 140 hours out. For some reason, it's 138. Huh. I see what I did. Okay, let's go into European ensembles. I clicked on it, zoom in. I didn't even realize I was. Yeah, there it is. 144 hours out. We don't see nothing. Okay? Absolutely nothing. And that is completely expected. I don't see any favorability for the next at least 10 days in the tropics. That's really good news, but I'm going to still continue to make these discussions and keep you guys updated. So those are the SOMLs. That's the CFS. We've looked at the National Hurricane Center. We've looked at satellite. Let's keep taking a look at the MJO. MJO right now, it's A-OK, but there is just too much going on. Too much wind shear, too much dryer. So the Atlantic shuts. All the way until pretty much now. That's what it is right now. We go into day 5. June 20th is X. Even June 25th is X. But this is where things get a little interesting. At the end of June, we get into favorability. Okay? And this is even in the subtropics. And that's why I'm saying maybe the GF is onto something. Maybe we will have favorability in the MJO for something. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. Even into the first week of July. Mid-July, even. Nothing too bad. Okay? All the way into the end of July. Nothing too bad with the MJO. It always updates. We're just going to have to wait and see. Pretty neutral. MJO forecast that I didn't bring up, but well, right now kind of shows the same thing. We're kind of we're kind of in a neutral pattern. We're in phases 1 and 2, nothing too much. Same thing here. We are just kind of a mess. I don't see anything happening into stages 1 and 8, 5 and 6. Okay? It's not the best favorability for MJO. Saharan dust, we continue to see another plume. That kind of went through. Now we're kind of dealing with a pretty decent plume from Northern Africa. So nothing really to worry about development in the short term. So that's pretty good. Oh, the Caribbean shear. This is where we are at. Alright? And this is where we're forecasted to be by the towards the end of June. Almost below average shear in the Caribbean. That's a pretty major decline. And I'm really interested because we go a little bit deep like that, yeah, we're going to be in trouble going into September and August. Okay? So shear levels in the Caribbean is a plus for tropical activity. Even in the Gulf of Mexico, we are currently right at average. What's expected in the next week, below average. Way below almost average. And this is supposed to even go more down. So, very interesting that we are running below average shear. So, shear is no problem. Dryer, pretty normal for the year. Okay? Now, I want to take a look at some GFS and European model. Okay? And what they're seeing with the MJO. And then that should wrap this one up. Alright? We're just looking at all the basics, everything head to toe, making sure everything looks good. Okay? So I kind of want to take a look at the MJO first because I'm already in the world map. But we even could, I think we could look at dry air. I don't know. This is at favorability, this right now. This is expected to get very unfavorable in the next few days. even the next week to June 20th. Pretty unfavorable. All the way up to even the 25th. Alright, this is where things go a little bit different on the GFS. We get into some favorability in the Caribbean once again. We get that active oscillation, but more in the East Pacific where we get those storms. But we do try and get something, and then even in the end of June, we see some favorability near Bermuda where it's neutralized, so nothing too much to worry about. Main development region, nothing too bad. We go fully out. Look at that. We start seeing an NJO trying to develop here in the main development region. Could that pop out even more into July? Yes. But we're not even there yet. July it's still over 10 days away, you guys. So that's why I'm not even looking to go crazy in the long range. We're just looking at the little detail. That's all I want to look at. The little details, the little signs, and what the pattern looks like to me. We do it June 30th on the Euro, and yes, pretty much same thing. Starting to get more favorable in the Caribbean. Still unfavorable in the MDR. But slowly but surely improving. And that's the stuff, okay? We start improving as we go into July, okay? Very important stuff. Now I want to take a look at the North Atlantic and just look at what we are seeing. And let's just take a look at the vorticity, because that's going to tell us quite a bit. So, let me just make sure this looks good here. Yes, look at that. This is a little bit more. This is like June 30th. And this is interesting. We, on the latest Euro, get a wave. We get a couple Kelvin wave. We got one going into the Caribbean on June 30th, right? We got another one right here. We got one kind of up here. We got a trough going between the two highs. Even something over here. Nothing too much in the Caribbean. But you see what I'm seeing, right? We got one wave, and you can tell by the troughs, right? This is number 2. Another trough. We even get some more vorticity coming off Africa. But that's the little signs. Yes, it's 360 hours out. But if we go into that, that's when the MDR starts waking up. And you can tell even right now, there's no waves. There is nothing. No vorticity. But as we go into later June, we start seeing some more active waves coming off Africa. And that's why could July be active for the MDR? We're not talking about hurricanes, tropical storms. We're just talking about original waves. Because these waves were like this and this. Yeah, that's going right into the Caribbean and Gulf of Mexico. And that could be more active by then. That is why I'm saying this hurricane season is not even close to done. It's just getting started. And what I'm seeing on the latest today's runs is we're starting to see waves come off Africa in the end of these runs. And the favorability by then is even going to be better. So, favorability, and we might have long track systems for ACE and stuff. So, at the end of the night, I just want you guys to look at what I'm seeing. With the ensembles, the CFS, the European. And that's very interesting. The European is picking that out. And this is, remember, the first year that we are with a longer range Euro. And we're going to have to see how the data comes. But GFS, we see that too in the 384 hours out. We see a little wave right here. Nothing too much, but we see one wave right there. I don't see anything else. Maybe some unsubtle activity in the Caribbean. Old cold fronts. Still a distinct high pressure right here. But that little stuff that is catching my eye from where we're at with the MDR to where we're heading is very interesting. We see another wave in the East Pacific. The East Pacific stuff keeps changing every day. I don't know. It's just very active monsoon season for them. All right. The dry air going out further, and you can even tell there's not going to be too much dryer. We actually see the dryer be more north here. We see one wave, two. We start seeing some more actively waves coming off Africa. That's the little stuff I'm taking a look at. Okay? Nothing too much, but enough to catch the eye. Okay? Because we look at now, and where we are in the few, where we are kind of right now, is just dry air. That just no waves. But towards the end, we start moistening up, and we start getting some more road bust waves. That's all I want to talk about, you guys, in this one. Nothing too much. And yes, we do get a little subtropical system out in here. And this is the 18Z. You see what I mean? We get a tropical system right there. Right there. Boom. That's something to keep an eye on. Favorability. Maybe that is right. I mean, we got... How's the shear on this? Nothing too much. No really shear. Oh, that's another thing. In the shear, in the 384 hours out. Yeah, Caribbean looks... Gulf of Mexico looks A-okay. Here isn't, no, but main development region, very interesting. Not too much shear. That's the GFS, okay? I know I'm yapping now about this, but Euro 2, all right? This is that just little detail I want to just look at. How does the favorability go down long road? And even on the Euro, I mean, even with the waves, look at that. These are going to be the two waves, and there is no shear in them. Yeah, Caribbean's not looking too good. We got just straight on westerlies. But main development region, looking pretty conducive. Alright. Water temps. We're going to add a little bit more detail because it's just a lot here. Okay. Western Atlantic, we have now hit 30 degrees Celsius in the Gulf. Over here has been pretty chilly. I haven't seen too much warming over here, but we are seeing the classic warming in the Gulf. And I'm interested why we haven't seen any 30 degrees Celsius over here. We've seen it warmer at this time. So that's good news. We still have enough for hurricanes. We still have enough for that, even ocean heat content. Look at that in the next video. But last 7 days, the main development region here, warming up. Still some cooling going on in the Caribbean, but we are warming up slowly. So that's going to wrap it up in this one. Have a great night, you guys. See you guys in the next update.